Hello, I'm Chuck Wolf, Chief Executive for Charles J. Wolf Associates, LLC. As a motivational speaker and a leadership consultant and executive coach and trainer, I often work with very successful people and their companies. Since many can't afford a professional, I volunteer to host a radio talk show called The Emotion Roadmap, Take the Wheel and Control How You Feel, on a nonprofit community radio station in Bridgeport, Connecticut, WPKN. My reason for doing the show is to share with as many people as possible this wonderful process for helping people manage their own emotions and their relationships with others. My goal is for everyone listening to learn to use the Emotion Roadmap to make life better. As you listen to me, help others, I hope you are also learning. As a Simsbury resident, I'm delighted to be able to make the show available through Simsbury TV. To learn more, go to my website, www.emotionroadmap.com. Thank you for listening and watching. Hi, this is Chuck Wolf. You're listening to the Emotion Roadmap, Take the Wheel and Control How You Feel. It's nice to be back with everybody. This is a brand new year. It's the beginning of my 11th year being on the show with the Emotion Roadmap. And I want you all to know that I'm here for you to help you take the wheel and control how you feel. And I don't know what about you. It's the time of year when everybody that I know is talking about what they want to have happen that's better and new and different for 2020 that didn't happen in 2019 or the years before, or something that you just want to continue that is happening. If you've got New Year's resolutions that you made last year and you actually follow through on them, and you found a way to do something that you hadn't done in the past, something that you feel really good about, you're really proud of the fact that you actually were able to honor some commitments that you made in the past. Well, if that's the case and you're able to do that, I just want to suggest to all of you, if you've got something that you've learned over the course of 2019 that you could share about what it was that made you follow through on a commitment, that's something that you wanted to do for a long time and you actually did it, let's talk about that a bit. The number to call is 203-336-9756. The number to call is 203-336-96. If you've got something to share that you learned about how to keep a commitment that was challenging to you, I have some thoughts I'll share about that, because lots of times people don't keep their commitments. They try very hard. We all try. I shouldn't say they. It's me too. We all try very hard to make changes to our life that we think would be beneficial. We know they're logical changes, and yet somehow emotionally we can't maintain our commitments to it. See, I really believe that one of the things that happens to us in life is that what we feel drives what we think, drives what we do. So think about that for a minute. What we feel, what are emotions that we experience, creates certain thoughts that we have that leads to behavior. So if you really want to change behavior, one of the things I really think that you've got to get a handle on is, what are the feelings behind the thoughts that are driving the problematic behavior that you may want to change. So if you've got some really good stories to share, I always like to think about starting a new day, a new year, as optimistically as I can, with hope and good feelings, some sense of pride in myself and in the people that I care about, the people that I love, the people that I like, the people that I work with, the people that I have in my life somehow. It's nice if we can find some way to feel good about each other and ourselves. So if you've got something to share that you think you feel really proud of, maybe it's not just yourself. Maybe it was something that you noticed about someone in your life that was able to honor a commitment. So if it's more comfortable to talk about somebody else that you know made a promise to themselves, a commitment to themselves, and they really wanted to make sure that they shared it. They really wanted to make sure that they shared it with you in the beginning of the year, and then they followed through on it. And you know something about what it took for them to make that happen. I'm looking for people to share good stories, if you could today, that inspire others to believe that what they're beginning to think and do in this new year is something they can hold on to and make changes that are positive and beneficial to themselves and to the people that they love and to the people that they care about and the people that they work with, and etc. So I think if you've got something that you could share that's really something that makes you feel proud of you or somebody that you know closely, and you can talk a little bit about what happened and how they did it or how you did it, I would love to have that experience shared. And I'm not asking you to brag or sound conceited or arrogant or anything like that. I'm asking you to share your story so you might help inspire others. The show is the Emotion Roadmap. We've been doing it now 10 years, and it's been part of this community strip that was begun at PKN a number of years ago, where 12 to 1, we have shows on the air Monday through Friday that are talk shows that hopefully are inspiring and engaging and entertaining and informative. And my show, the show that I've been doing, is about helping people deal with emotionally challenging situations. And one of those emotionally challenging situations is trying to change behaviors of our own or somebody else's. It's even harder maybe to change somebody else's. But if you've got stories that you could share, I'd really appreciate hearing what those might be. So I'm going to give you a minute to call in. I'm hoping that we've got a way of starting along those lines. As you know, if you've listened to the show in the past, and thank you so much for tuning in, and Happy New Year to all my regular listeners, and Happy New Year to anybody else who just might be listening because they're home today and they're not usually home on Wednesdays. This show is called The Emotion Roadmap. Take the wheel and control how you feel. I'm Chuck Wolf. I've been the host for 10 years now. This is my 11th year. And the show is all about helping people deal with emotionally challenging situations. What I've found over the years is that when smart people are stuck, it's almost always because something emotional is happening in their lives, either within themselves or with the people that are key to whatever they're dealing with. And so sometimes we don't know what to do next. We become uncertain or doubtful when there are strong emotions in play because we haven't had a lot of education about emotional stuff over the years. And we're doing better with that these days. There's some wonderful things happening in schools, for instance. But still, we have a lot of people in the world today, in the United States, in our state, in this city where we're broadcasting from the University of Bridgeport in Bridgeport, Connecticut, lots of people who don't feel great about life and about themselves and about their situations. And sometimes I think if you can focus on the emotions that you're experiencing, the emotions that are really taking up most of your days, and if they're not helpful emotions, if they're actually obstructions to you living a decent, healthy, happy, productive life, then I think by helping you focus on emotion, this show is all about the idea of the tagline, take the wheel and control how you feel. And so sometimes we do that with people sharing good stories about ways that they've done that for themselves already. Other times we have people call in with challenges that they face that are really something that they're struggling with. And by walking them through this emotion roadmap, which I'll explain in more detail for those who are new listeners in a moment, I help people not only with their particular situation, but anyone who's listening. Hopefully over the years, you're beginning to understand and use in your own lives this idea of an emotion roadmap, that when you're feeling something that isn't particularly helpful, like for instance, if you need to feel confident and you're feeling very anxious or edgy or nervous, and you want to feel confident or calm, how do you do that? How do you do that? And then I help you figure out how you do that. And in helping you, when you call in, everybody that's listening is hopefully gaining some knowledge of how this process works. And hopefully, again, for those of you who have been listening a long time, I hope that you're feeling like you own this and this is part of your life. And that anytime something feels wrong or upsetting or just difficult to deal with, that one of the first things you think to ask yourself is, wait a minute, what am I feeling? Is what I'm feeling helpful? And if it's not helpful, what would be ideal to feel? How do I change from what I am feeling, if it's not helpful, to what would be ideal to feel? So that's what the show's about. So I'm going to give you a moment. I'm going to wait a moment and just take a little time out just to give you a chance to call. If you've got a story or a situation that you can talk a bit about where you actually know someone or you did it yourself, where you actually honored a commitment you made last New Year's or somewhere during the year, where you actually changed the behavior from something that was negative and having an impact that was unhealthy, non-productive in your life to something that was truly working for you. And if you have a great, it doesn't have to be a great story, just a story, and that you could share, because hopefully it inspires others. So I'll give you the number again, and then I'll take a moment and give you a chance to call. I'll say the number. I'll say it a couple of times. 203-336-9756. 203-336-9756. And I'll give you a moment to call in. Hi, this is Chuck. You're on the air. Who am I talking to, please?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. What was your name?
Michael.
Michael. Thanks for calling in, Michael. You have a story to share?
Well, I got a twofold story. One, I've decided to go in for bariatric surgery. I'm all set for a week from Monday.
For what kind of surgery?
For a lifetime problem with weight. I'm really excited about that. A little scary, but excited.
Is it something to do with your stomach? Is that what you said?
Yeah, they staple the stomach and
okay.
reduce it by about 75%. And you got to be on supplements and protein supplements the rest of your life. But you're living on about 1,000 calories for the rest of your life. So you can't gain the weight back, which I've been up and down all my life. So I'm 65. I can't be doing this no more,
Well, I wish. Well, first of all, let me wish you a Happy New Year, Michael, and then I hope much success and good health with all of that.
Yeah, the other thing, I have a friend who's in a lot of pain. She, her husband, betrayed her big time. I mean, I went through a lot of pain. He's going to leave her. He's been cheating on her, lying about her. Basically destroyed her self-worth. She just feels like she's like she's damaged goods.
Right.
And I'd just like to see if you can maybe give me some advice. I mean, I've suggested therapy, and I've tried a lot of different ways to try to, hope and aspiration type things. And she's going through a real tough time right now. I just wondered if you might have any advice on that.
Well, this is a friend that is a woman friend that has been betrayed by her husband, who you're trying to help. You're trying to help her to kind of rekindle her self-esteem.
Well, I'm just frightened about her because she's, it may be, I think she's like clinically depressed right now, and I worry about it, and it's just,
right.
He just kind of announced he's moving to another part of the world, and she knows she's got some kind of online lover that he's been doing, and he's been cheating on her. She's seen emails. He basically ignores her and treats her like she doesn't exist. He's turned her son against her, a kid from a previous marriage, turned her friends against her. I mean, this guy is like, human excrement as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Is there a way I could help build her up? That I've tried different ways, and I just, any other ways, advice you might have.
Yeah.
Would be something that would be positive for me for this year.
So is the person still living with this woman?
No. Well, it just kind of came to a head, I guess, just recently. She found out he was booking a flight out of town, and I actually wanted her to come along, and she knows why he was going there, and it's in the Philippines, so she doesn't agree with the politics over there either, and she just, and she's just been, she's been in a neighborhood before. She's known about it for several years. The guy was a master at manipulation, and she was madly in love with him, and, it was a beautiful relationship for a few years, and then, friend of the family, all that kind of stuff, and the last few years, it just turned into a freaking nightmare,
So tell me a little bit more about your relationship with the woman. It sounds like
I've known her for about 40 years off and on. been friends. She comes from money, Park Avenue penthouses, well-to-do. Her mother died. She lost, the new wife took most of the money. She's got, a trust from her grandmother, but that's all super, her father was super controlling. She has a place in the city and a place up in the country here, and I don't want to get into too much detail, but
I know that's okay.
it's.
Well, let me ask. That you said you've tried to do some things to be helpful to this woman. Now, it's always a little tricky when it's when it's a man and a woman, and it's somebody else's wife, and she still loves this guy. It sounds like, even though he's betrayed her. And
I don't think she. Well, she may have. She knows she's been in love with him, but she knows it's been a huge mistake. We do. She's been pretty intimate in details with me and about what happened, and it's just despicable what this man did. I mean, and there's no future in it. He would just continue to abuse, and it's like psychological abuse. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just really, really sad, and no one deserves to be treated like this person.
Okay, so this is not a simple fix, Michael. But let me just ask a couple of other questions. Is she someone that is seeking out counseling of some kind at this point?
I've given her a name of a local counselor.
Yeah.
She's just so confused and isolated right now. I worry for her safety, even. You know what I'm saying? And that's.
Yeah.
Probably would almost need an intervention type setup, because I don't know if she's strong enough to even pull herself out of it. I mean, it's horrible. It's really horrible.
So is this? It sounds. I got to ask, Michael. Is this more than a friendship? The way you feel about this woman? It sounds like it could be.
Who knows? I'm not. I've lived my life. That's not important what my feelings are at this point, and. We recently even discussed that, and I said, don't even worry about my feelings because they're irrelevant at this point. It's out of pure friendship and concern for someone's safety that I'm coming at this problem with. So
well, I guess
I could walk away tomorrow so long as I knew she was, was safe and healthy and happy, and I can go on with my life. And I've been up and down all my life and had all kinds of issues, and I'm a strong person. I came out of a abuse, alcoholic family. All my brothers and me, we did well, and we went through hell as kids, but we all came through, and we're stronger for it, But
well, let me ask you. You said
my feelings.
I think I've got enough of a handle, Michael, to offer some thoughts. But before I get to what I would say is, you said you've tried some things. Can you give me kind of an overview of what you tried to do?
Phone conversations, texting, like poetry, like Bukowski's The Laughing Heart. I try to give her positive, inspirational, aspirational things. I've talked about my life with her and things that have happened to me.
Okay.
That terrible, awful things, and but I'm still alive, and I found my inner peace, kind of, and I try to use examples in my own life, and just point out that the things in conversations, things will get better. It takes time. You're not the only person it's ever happened to, that kind of thing. I think I'm a pretty sensitive character. I've worked in the psych wards and things like that in my life, and
yep.
I feel like I have a little bit of a handle in that area. So
all right, so I think I got enough. Let me kind of walk you through what I think might be helpful. So first of all, for her to be in this relationship and be an enabler for all this time, and the little bit you told me about how her dad was, and says that there's some issues that are pretty much foundational for her that she's got to work through in order to move on and look for a more healthy relationship going forward. And in order to do that, she probably needs to clean some stuff up therapeutically. That's, and I think you know that already.
I agree. That's,
right.
I don't even, like I said, she's got my friend who was a head nurse over at the training school over here in Connecticut. She gave me the name of an excellent counselor in the local town she lives in, and I gave it to her and advised her to go see this. She's worked with ADD patients and, did biofeedback things and help kids, correct their thinking. She's very sensitive and smart,
Yeah.
but she's just so beat up. I mean, in terms of emotionally beaten down, I agree. She needs to.
All right. So we're on the same page on that.
Grade,
Hey, Let me walk you through how this works. So the emotion roadmap is about knowing how you're feeling, knowing how she's feeling, and asking yourself, well, obviously the feelings you're feeling like you want to be helpful, and you are being helpful. It's clear that you are, but you want to be even more helpful. You want to see if you can help her turn the corner, and she hasn't got there yet, and you're looking for some help. Does that sound about right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So the roadmap says, okay, so you want to feel like you're confident that either what you're doing or some other things that you could do are going to help her turn that corner. Does that sound right too?
I'm fairly confident that my information would be helpful and correct, and that procedurally, I mean, it's almost like there's different steps of grieving in this kind of situation because she was so emotionally attached, and it's like a loss, but it's more a sense of betrayal that's involved.
Well, sometimes on this show I talk
about the
about
depth of feelings.
right.
I can't imagine, that
Hmm.
someone betrays you it's hard to fathom.
Well, I think betrayal is the toughest emotion to ever come back from. It's the one that hurts the most. But anyway, let me try to get to what I think you can do. So if I'm right that you want to feel confident, you're calling in because you want to know everything you can do to make this person feel better, right?
Right.
And then for her, she's still sort of at the bottom, feeling depressed, betrayed, depressed and betrayed.
Right now, you can't, totally.
And so,
in a dark place.
So one of the things that you want to recognize, and I think this might be helpful, in order to help her, is you're going to have to look for little signs, and you can't. The thing that's the hardest here is you want to fix this and fix it fast, and it's going to take an enormous amount of patience because it's such a hurtful feeling to be betrayed that it's so hard to come back from. And even if she's exploring with you the possibility of a relationship, friendship or otherwise, it's like, why would I believe that anybody else is not going to betray me?
It recently came up, she just doesn't feel she can trust anyone. And
right.
I mean, I can deal with that, and I'm tough, and I can be, firm and, and pay. And believe me, I'm being patient.
Yep.
And, and trying to be understanding. And like I said, I've had my share of broken hearts and things, and I'm just trying to figure out, if there's certain tricks of the trade, maybe pulling back a little bit, maybe, I try to give a light touch, give the person space to feel things, and we're, there's going to be times that they're going to need to be alone and work through their emotions, and I've been there myself, like most people have, when things bad happen, and but I don't want to push her away because I'm trying too hard, and I don't want to be not aggressive enough where she slips away and does something foolish. You know what I mean?
So I mean, you could ask her. Situation. You could ask her, how often should I call? But she won't know. She won't really know what's right.
And she won't get back to me for a long time, and I get worried, and and then all of a sudden it's like she falls off the face of the earth, and she's back, and she's kind of like up and down, and going back and forth, and trying to, you get into denial, or you try to get into just putting it out of your mind. But I mean, right now it's really fresh and really raw because he's leaving on the 12th.
Yeah,
and it's done, and that kind of thing. And now she has to face, okay, there is no chance she's going away for a long time to cheat on her with somebody in another part of the world. And so the illusion is gone, that she's ever going to get back together with this guy, as far as I can see. And that's where she's at, and it's really, it's like a real touchy situation.
Yeah. So my take on it, Michael. Yeah. Thank you. My take on it is that she may feel that way now, but if you said he's very manipulative, and if he decides he wants back in,
totally.
So
like I said, he was, he's like a hacker, and he's really, worked for NASA. He's really, really smart, but he's a cold fish, as far as I can see. He brought her along and manipulated her for years. Took care of the kids, was a perfect parent type deal, and
Well,
and all of a sudden it just
here's a thought.
out of the blue.
Here's a thought for you, Michael. First of all, I think as much as you want to help this person, you may be able to, and you may not. That's the reality.
I know. Like I said, that's what I'm just looking for some direction.
No, okay. So let me get.
I'll try my best, but if you had any insights.
Yeah, no. So let me share something that's I think worth remembering. I think what you want to do is control the part that you influence, which is, you want to feel good about what you're doing to help support her, and hopefully that makes the connection with her that you think she needs, and she may or may not respond. We don't know. There's no way to know. What we can do, and what I suggest to you, is that you're living a plan right now, and I think the plan is, that you want to demonstrate to her that, look, I know you've been betrayed. I know that you feel like you can't trust anyone. I want to be your friend. I care about you, but it's not about caring about you and to be in a relationship with you. At this point, all I want to do is make sure you're safe, you're whole, and that you understand that you are a good and a worthwhile person. And I want to be here with you, and I'm not leaving unless you push me away.
It's been exactly my tack. It's like,
Yep.
Like the first line from The Laughing Heart is by Bukowski is, you are your own person, and no one, you shouldn't allow yourself to be, pounded into dank submission. The gods await.
Okay, so how often do you actually talk with this woman?
Fairly regularly, several times a week.
And so she's not turning your way right now, right?
No, but like I said, I think it's just it's kind of reached a critical mass, and I was just kind of looking for maybe, like I said, some direction. I think I've been doing the right thing. I just I don't know what the.
So let me suggest this.
Like I said, it's out of general concern for safety. Aside from it's just a general friendship thing.
Yeah. So
at this point, it may be something will happen down the line.
I get it.
I waited 40 years.
Yeah.
I've known her for 40 years. She's been through a couple of marriages. We kind of reconnected after a long time, and
yeah.
There's a lot of connections, and we were someone I really felt close to for when I knew her years ago, and I still feel close to her. And
okay.
I just hate to see someone in so much pain. I just want to try, like you said, to somehow relieve that.
So
pain, or just at least where you don't. The pain doesn't go away. You just learn how to deal with it better. You know what I'm saying? That's how I found my life to go.
So here's a key thing for you is I would think there's several things I'll suggest. One is that you let her know that you're going to keep calling a couple times a week, and that if she doesn't want to return your phone calls, that's up to her. You don't want to feel like you're pushing her, or that you're suffocating her, or that you're trying too hard or being too aggressive. You just want her to know you're there for her. You're going to keep calling, and that's not going to stop. And you want her to know that at least there's one person out here that you can trust, and that's me.
Yeah, that's it's pretty much been my feelings about it.
But I'd be real clear with her.
I can't destroy myself in the process either, and I have to keep my focus. Like I said, I'm going to be going through a lot of transformations myself this year. I got to go through the surgery and all the follow-ups, and it's going to be a real big change for my life. Well, for the good,
All right, hold on.
And that's what I'm positive too.
Yeah, no, Michael. Let me. I've got to move on here. So let me offer a couple things, and then you can react to all of it. But just don't. Let me just finish what I want to say. So first is I just want to say to you that I think if you want to prove to her you're going to be around, even with the things going on with your life, that you're going to be regularly calling. And that it's going to be once a week anyway. Maybe you don't want to say twice a week because you got your own stuff coming up. But you're at least going to call once a week, sometimes twice a week. And she doesn't have to take your call, but you want her to know you're there for her. That's number one. And be very explicit about it. And number two is I'm not asking for anything from you. And don't offer too much advice. Give her things to read, suggest things that might be fun for her to do, but allow her just to vent and to talk through whatever it is that's in her head about how she's feeling. And don't try to problem solve. because I'm hearing some of what you're doing is maybe trying too hard to tell her what she should be doing instead of allowing her to come to that. You're right about, you said before, it's like a period of grieving. People can't explore new opportunities until they're done feeling angry and sad about what's lost. And she needs to get through that. And that's mostly just about her expressing herself without you intervening and saying, hey, here's what you need to do to fix that.
All right. Well, I agree, and that's the thing I've been emphasizing too. It just takes time, and like I said to her recently, I said just catch your breath and just relax and think. Just you give it time, and things will get better. And that's about it. I guess that's about all you can really offer, and hope that things do, and just be there when somebody needs advice or
No, I'm suggesting you offer less advice. And just be there for her and just listen to her.
I got you. I hear you. Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much telling me I'm on the mark, and maybe pull back a little bit from
the advice giving, not about being there for her. I think every phone call you make and things that you can say about yourself that you've done, that's fine. But I think one of the things that happens with people that have been controlled by others is she's going to start looking for you to tell her what to do. And what she needs, in terms of getting really healthy, is to figure out what she needs to do to control her own life and to provide herself with her own direction. And that comes from within more than from someone else. Everything you're doing sounds like it's great.
Right.
Everything you're doing sounds like it's great, but just less on more direction for her as much as just listen to her. And let her know you're going to keep calling and you're not leaving unless she's...
That's a skill. That's a skill is sorely lacking in most people, is the ability to listen. And, you're absolutely right. Sometimes you just talk over yourself and you're hearing what you want to hear. And, that's some good advice. So, hey, listen, I really appreciate your help, and you have a great New Year's.
Thanks, Michael, and good luck with the surgery. Good luck with the relationship, and so you sound like a really nice guy. I hope it all works out for you.
Yep, and you're doing great work in the PKN, and I wish you all the best in the new year.
Thanks, you too. Take care, Michael. Bye-bye now.
Have a great day.
You too. Well, thanks for the call. And again, just walking back through this. So try and understand what somebody's context is. It's the beginning of understanding how to use this emotion roadmap to help people. And then it's really important to try and understand what people are already doing. So that, the initial things that I might have offered if I just responded to Michael when he first called and said, Michael, here's what you need to do. There are already things he's doing. And then he doesn't feel like I'm helping him. But by listening and asking what he's already doing, that's one way that you understand what somebody's already thought about who's asking for some help and what they're already trying, instead of you suggesting things they're already doing or even things that they might have tried that didn't work. That's even worse. Even though you're trying to be helpful, it gets problematic. If you don't ask first, what are you already trying? And then ask, what are you feeling? And what do you want to feel? And what do you want the other person to feel? And so and hopefully that's how this emotional roadmap works. And Michael, thanks so much for calling in, because I hope I've helped you, and it sounds like I did, but I hope everybody listening feels helped too, or at least understands how this is working. Now, I know I had somebody else call when Michael was on the phone, and at the radio station, because we're all volunteer programmers here, there's nobody answering the phones for me. So I know if you called before, I couldn't pick the phone up. And so if you want to call back, this would be a good time to do it. The number is 203-336-9756. So I'll give you a moment if you want to call in. Now I can take your phone call. Again, the number is 203-336-9756. Well, sometimes people that feel like they want to call in and they have something to say, maybe rethink that. I hope you don't. I mean, I'm going to be here next week too, but I've got some time to talk to people now. If you've got something you'd like to address with me and I might be able to help you with, please give me a call now while I've got the chance. I'm here from 12 to 12:55, 5 minutes to 1. We put on some public announcements, and that's when I leave. So I hope that if you've got something that you make the call now. 203 336-9756. If you've just tuned into the show, you're listening to the Emotion Roadmap, Take the Wheel and Control How You Feel. I'm Chuck Wolf. I'm your host. This is my 11th year doing this. We broadcast from the University of Bridgeport in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We're a nonprofit community radio station. We survive because of listeners like you who contribute either as volunteers or financially in some meaningful way. And we are broadcasting live 24 hours a day, and I'm on the air the first and second Wednesdays of the month, 12 to 1 p.m., as part of the community strip at WPKN. Again, the number to call is 203-336-9756. One of the things I was asking people to call about is whether or not you have something that you've actually done in the year that you feel really good about, a commitment that you might have made in 2019 that you actually kept and honored and were successful. And if you've got some insights about what made the difference for you to be able to commit to something. And Michael started with that. He talked about getting a stomach staple. I guess, sometimes that's a way to make a real commitment that you can't turn back the clock on. If you really want to lose weight that way, there's no turning that around. There's other people that have made other kinds of commitments, I'm sure, over the years that have been successful. And if you could share what you did and why it was successful, that's a great way to inspire others to actually honor the commitments they're thinking about making or have already made for the new year. So the number to call is 203-336-9756. So any regular listeners out there got something they can share with our community that listens in regularly? And welcome to all and every new listener as well. 203-336-9756. Okay. I always come prepared because you never know if you're going to get calls or lots of calls, whatever. But today, I did bring with me something that I wanted to talk about that, excuse me. Let's see. Okay, I've got a caller. Hi, this is Chuck. You're on the air. Who am I talking to, please?
Yes, you're talking to Ed.
Ed.
W.
Ed, thank you for calling. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, thanks. Happy New Year's to you.
Thank you. Do you got something you can share, or you have a question for me, or something I can help with?
Well, I was thinking about what you said on the air, about something that you're proud of.
Uh-huh.
And I've got into some alcohol years ago and kind of ruined my life. And now I took the road to recovery, and I have like 23 years sober.
Wow.
And I feel really proud of that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I guess one of the things that I was looking for in terms of understanding what makes somebody turn around. Do you remember way back when? Obviously, when you're ruining your life and you're seeing all kinds of horrible things happen as a result of behaviors, there's an incentive that's pretty dramatic if you want to save your life. But I'm sure it wasn't the first time you thought about turning around. So what do you think had made the difference that might be inspirational to somebody else who's struggling with something like this that wants to turn that around?
I think the biggest thing was that the guilt and remorse, I had my limit with it. I was always feeling guilty for the things I did the day before, the week before, and I just felt like I had to change my life. And I walked into a meeting, and my journey into recovery started then. I know it wasn't something that was just going to go away on its own. I know I needed help.
So this was an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting or some other kind of meeting?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
And that was the turning point. For the turning point was more about just being fed up with how much guilt and remorse you were feeling, and you knew you couldn't keep living this way, and then you felt you needed help, and so you turned to something that was not an unusual step for people who are ready to make a commitment. And then you still have to go to those meetings, though. Even when you go the first time, it's like, okay, so I went once, but keeping yourself going back and back and back, when the overwhelming desire to keep living on this crazy behavior. I mean, again, you're one of many who have gone through something like this, and there are people out there who are still struggling with it. And so the key thing was just having enough, and then deciding that this is the time to move on, and then sticking with it.
Yeah, kind of like just sticking with it and taking suggestions. I went to a lot of beginners meetings and early on, and I still go to those beginners just to kind of give them some hope with their journey, and let them know that there is a good life to be had. I had to turn my life over to God at some point and kind of let Him take the reins. Some people shrug when they hear about God, but He helped me through all those times when I was in those abandoned buildings and crazy areas. He helped me through that and kept me alive.
Yeah, I think faith's pretty powerful as a something of a crutch, and something that helps to give you reason to live and to believe. And I mean, I'm I'm a big fan. I think sometimes religion itself sometimes can cause people to have different issues with others who are not the same. Really, I mean, there's problems sometimes with everything, but the idea of faith and believing in something spiritual that's helping you, I think, is a powerful motivator. So that sounds like it was key for you.
Yeah, very. I guess I know every day here is a gift from my higher power. I call God, and I try and make the best of it each 24 hours. That's something hard to grasp in the beginning. It gets easier each day.
So it's interesting. Yeah, Ed, one of the things that I think about a lot is when people change behaviors that have been with them a long time and have been destructive behaviors, they know it isn't too long before people recognize when what they're doing is destructive in many ways to them and to others. But they don't change very fast sometimes, and they keep doing it even though they know it doesn't make any rational sense. And so emotionally, something's causing that. Have you ever thought at all about the feelings that you had as you were experiencing each new day of being sober, and how the feelings began to change?
Oh yeah, there was like a light went on every day. For different spurts of my sobriety, I guess they call them growing spurts, where you get a little like wow effect, like wow, this is really happening. This is good.
Well, I think the self-confidence starts to come back, and your self-esteem starts to build, and you start believing in yourself, and that feels. I mean, you called because you said there's something you're proud of. Right?
Yeah.
And so that pride is 23 years strong. That's a long time. And to still feel pride in it is part of what keeps you that way.
Yeah. When I go to meetings, I'll hear people that relapsed, and with 20 years and stuff, and it just keeps me grounded that, this is definitely, I don't got this for sure,
Right. It's a right. Yeah. It's a journey that you have to continue on.
Yep.
Yeah. You still have to navigate the rivers.
Share that.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate the call, Ed, and congratulations, and Happy New Year to you, and thanks for sharing your story.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to
Bye-bye.
you too. Thanks. Bye-bye. So that's another interesting story about, sometimes there are things that we do we know aren't logical, and yet we keep doing them. And can be drinking, it can be drugs, it can be overwork, it can be lots of things that we just recognize what's happening in our feelings that are driving behaviors that in moderation might be okay, but in extremes, and we're doing them in extremes, are really, really dangerous to ourselves and people we care about as well. So anybody else want to give us a call? The number is 203-336-9756. Probably have time for one more call if you want to call in. 203-336-9756. Something you've done that you're proud of going forward that might be inspirational to other people. Doesn't have to. Oh, great. Okay, got another call. Hi, this is Chuck. Oh, can you turn your radio down? Hi, this is Chuck. You're on the air. Who am I talking to?
Steve.
Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. So you've got something you can share or something you want to ask about?
Well, I was just listening, and, I have 23 years of sobriety myself. I'm a big fan of your radio station, by the way.
Thank you.
And I think that what some people are mistaken about is the word pride. And, pride in itself is one of the main character defects that a recovering alcoholic has. Pride causes all kinds of problems. Fear, all kinds of self-centeredness, self-loathing, self-pity, because you're demanding more from people than they can provide. Pride in itself, being okay with where you are, taking care of your lawn, looking good and stuff like that, I can understand that part of it, but pride in itself is not good. Pride is the opposite of humility. And if a recovering alcoholic does not stay humble, he will drink again.
So the way you're defining pride is different than the way I think about it. Now, maybe in your lexicon, maybe that's perfectly appropriate what you're saying, Steve. To me, when you're proud of something you've done that you feel good about. And that, I think, is fine to feel pride. I think it's actually really important for parents to be able to say to their children, in front of the children, that they're proud that they did something so that the kids develop. This is actually a fellow named Don Felkner years ago wrote some research about how important it is for people who are parents to be able to say that they're proud of certain things that they've done so that the kids can be proud when they do the right thing. So I disagree with you, at least the way I frame it. Now, maybe the way you're framing it, pride as a sin of arrogance and conceit. Yeah, no, I get that. And
it heads the list of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I get it the way you're talking about it, but that's not the way I think about it.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. But to an alcoholic who's trying to stay recovered, pride can lure us into these false understandings of ourselves, false hope, and that in reality, we have to understand that it is our God, our higher power, that's given us everything. And without that, we don't get sober. We can't, because no human power, no feeling can help us recover. That's in the book. Pride heads the list.
Okay.
And to us, it is a bad thing. Not necessarily, I own a home. I have a nice lawn. I just did work on my house. You could say that, in effect, I'm proud of my house.
Right.
Okay? I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But we have a problem, recovering alcoholics have a problem with taking it too far.
No, I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's all, sir.
No, that Steve, I appreciate that, and I don't disagree with that at all, and I understand what you're saying, and I think it can be the way that it's described and what you're talking about. I really get it. And Steve, thank you for the phone call and trying to clear that up, because I know it's a point you feel is really important for anybody out there to hear, and I appreciate you sharing it.
Thank you very much, sir. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Thanks a lot for the call. I appreciate it. Take care now. Bye-bye. Okay. Again, people have different ways of framing things, and it's really important to understand that, and be understanding. And that's really key to what we try to do here. So I want to make sure everybody, I want to share something with you rather than take another call, because I'm going to run out of time pretty soon. What I want to share is, I read something the other day that, I like to have topics that I talk about besides just callers. And this is a topic that is, the title is How We Can Be Better Leaders in 2020. And it comes from the Manila Times. Manila in the Philippines, and it's written by somebody who's a member of Deloitte Touche Asia Pacific. Deloitte is one of those really famous consulting accounting firms that is highly professional, really smart people, and they had some really interesting thoughts that were sort of counterintuitive. The first one isn't so much. Know thyself. And this says, this one may be a no-brainer for many CEOs or chief executive officers. Self-awareness is an essential part of being an effective leader. Manfred Ketz de Vries, and he's a very famous fellow, consultant and psychologist, believes that the most successful leaders are able to both act and reflect, even amid the pressures of running a company in a frenetic market. Now, think about that. Can you, in the middle of enormous pressures, step back and be reflective? So it isn't just know thyself. It's like knowing thyself in the toughest of times when under enormous pressures that you're facing, highly stressful situations, being able to step back and be reflective. So that's one point. But then see your top talent out is another, and this is really counterintuitive. What this fellow is writing about and what he's discovered, at least the way he thinks about it, he says, here's surprising advice from Sidney Finkelstein, a faculty director of the Center for Leadership at the Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth. Let your high flyers leave. That's their highly talented people. Let them leave. More than that, actively help them succeed in their next posting. Now, if you've ever been in a company and you've ever had really talented people, you desperately want to keep them. So to say help them to leave and help them be successful in other ventures, in other places, in other companies, really does sound counterintuitive. The reason I really like this is because one of the leaders I worked really closely with was a really empathic person, a fellow named Gary Hurlbut, who was a very good friend, and I did a lot of work with in Kaiser Permanente a number of years ago. He did this. He actually helped his people find, when they needed to leave for different reasons, he'd help them find jobs. And you know what? He earned a reputation in Kaiser as being someone everybody wanted to work for because he helped to promote you. He didn't care just that you got done what the organization needed. He cared that you got done what you needed to do for you. And that's another amazing message, I think, that is pretty unusual. And what happened was a lot of these people would go out, they'd learn some things, and they'd find they didn't like working as much for somebody else as they did for Gary, and they'd come back to the organization with new ideas, with new methodologies, with new concepts, and new innovative thoughts that actually help make Kaiser better when they'd come back. So I thought that's worth sharing too. And then focus on community, not legacy. So many people, I believe, really pay attention to what's their legacy going to be when they leave. And this is what he wrote about that. CEOs are typically expected to be hard-charging type A's, really very energetic, demanding people, with a laser-like focus on getting things done. That may have served organizations well in the past, but Henry Mintzberg, another famous psychologist and professor of management studies at the Sauterless Faculty of Management of McGill University up in Canada in Montreal, Batsford suggests a different kind of leadership, engaged management that is quiet, humble, and thoughtful. Mintzberg believes that this brand of leadership is needed to establish communityship, That is collective engagement within an organization where employees are respected, and so they in turn respect the company. They perform because they are naturally empowered, not because they are afraid of missing a target or worse, of being fired. In Mintzberg's mind, a good leader is one who knows how to listen and helps others people feel important. In this kind of environment, people feel free to speak out and share their ideas, improving the chances of the team coming up with solutions to problems which could then turn into big initiatives. Perhaps that's another form of disruption some folks have to grapple with. The end of the mercenary, individualistic approach to succeeding in business. There is so much emphasis now on collaboration, reaching out across function and business lines, diversity and inclusivity, no doubt because business leaders recognize that the challenges of today cannot be overcome by the brilliance of a handful of star players. To paraphrase a famous saying, it's going to take more than a village. Folks, I just want to leave you with that. I hope those are some interesting thoughts to consider as the new year comes and how to be better leaders in the new year. And I want to thank the people that called. I really appreciate the callers. I hope that you got some good advice and that you can use. And I really appreciate everybody who listens. Thank you so much. And I wish you all an extremely nice and healthy and productive and happy new year. Take care, everybody.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.